early coffee and a croissant. And this is what you do with it. Look. This is just happiness. Today is coffee and croissant with Guillem for Premier Sports. Let's start with the elephant in the room.
Cuando las oportunidades están, como tuvo la de venida del Villarreal y fue magnífica, van llegando, van pasando y esta he considerado que tenía que cogerla. Como un reto deportivo, como un proyecto deportivo diferente, porque todos los proyectos deportivos, y este tiene un proyecto deportivo muy bonito, diferente, pero que profesionalmente con muchas decisiones, con gente a mi alrededor muy cercana, pues que la he tomado.
On the week that Unai Emery, top manager of course, and who was doing well with Villarreal, semi-finals of the Champions League last season, goes to the Premier League. Said no to Newcastle originally a few months back because he wanted to stay with Lander, his son, who he's missed a lot of his growing up with, and also because the Roach family told the owners of the club told him to stay, but as it seemed for Unai, the right team at the right time. And then he proven to be right because they got to the semi-finals of the Champions League. But he has unfinished business in the Premier League and wanted to go back, and now he's decided to go for Aston Villa. Also on the week that only one Spanish team has qualified for the next round of the Champions League, that's the always Real Madrid. Also, what it looks like, there could be 4 English teams into the next round of the Champions League, into the last 16, but also it could be 4 German. So what's going on? And that's one that I've spoken to Spanish coaches a lot in recent times. This is my take. Football has definitely gone to another place compared to the positional game and possession game that made Spain so famous. It's now a football of transitions, of intensity, of pace, the ability to actually recover possession quickly and then attack quickly, and doing it also continuously. All that Spanish teams don't normally have. Not even Real Madrid, to be honest. So do we have to become like the German teams and the English teams to actually match them up? A little bit, yes. And that, I think, is one of the things that in Spain we're missing. The understanding that the physique is a very important part of the game. So Pep Segura, the director of football of Barcelona, about 3-4 years back, trying to convince people at Barcelona that was necessary. That, of course, was twisted by people at the club that did not want anything to be touched, especially them in their position, and thought it was like, oh, he just wants tall guys. No, it was about the intensity of the approach, the pace as well, the importance of pace. You have to beat teams in the 50-50. You have to be able to win a 50-50 ball, but also beat defenders with pace. And not a lot of that is in Spain at the moment. What there is the pacey player, not a pacey approach, if you like. That makes a big difference. And I think the sooner we understand it, the better. Obviously, if you look at every case, you will find all the reasons why they've been knocked out of the Champions League. But one thing that remains is that LaLiga is very, very competitive. It's becoming more and more competitive because the difference of money coming in to the top 2 and the rest is shortening. And because it's shortening, you actually have got teams using the money well and making the league, as I say, competitive. So that matches any league in the world, no doubt about it. Now, in all that, let me show you what's going on this weekend. Have a look at the games, all on Premier Sports, and I'll pick 4 of them and we can chat some longer. Let's start with the games on Saturday, Sevilla-Rayo, and this is an example of what we're talking about. Sevilla, it's a team that in the past it would have been intense, quick, with actions that were verging on the aggressive everywhere, so they wouldn't lose the ball. They recovered it quickly and they attacked the spaces when they actually had the opportunity to have possession, and that's gone. This is now a midfield that is slow, that is want the ball to the feet, that don't attack the spaces, and Sampaoli is trying to change that. He's only lost 1 game since he arrived, and against Rayo Vallecano he will find a team that actually does the kind of thing that I'm describing, the the attack, the space, the running behind, the quick passing, the attacking down the flanks. A lot of things that remind you of German size, for instance, but with less quality. It's Rayo Vallecano after all. They beat Cádiz 5-1, and Sevilla, as I said, only lost one game with Sampaoli, but they beat Copenhagen in the Champions League, so they're on the way up. But at the moment, they only score 11 goals. No, I think, only Cádiz, Elche, and Mallorca have scored fewer goals this season. That's one of the many things that they have to prove. Another game of Saturday is Barcelona. Valencia struggling with injuries. Diakabi, their best centre-back, is out. Nico cannot play because of the fear clause. That means that Barcelona don't let him play. Ilaix Moriba is out as well. This coincides with 3 games without winning, having had 5 without a defeat. So after very exciting times, there are a little bit of doubts about Gattuso's side, but Gattuso has made it very clear that it's a young team and there will be up and downs during the season. And at the end of the season, we'll see where Valencia ends. Possibly about mid-table. Anyway, Barcelona, of course, were knocked out of the Champions League in a very strange game in which they come out on the pitch already out of the competition. And what we've seen is a where's Barcelona that we saw, for instance, in Munich against Bayern Munich as well. So is the team improving? It doesn't feel that way, but what it seems like is like Xavi's adapting to what he's got. So no more 2 wingers in the same side from the start. Maybe one, and Pedri as a false winger coming inside, trying to create superiority in the middle. But generally, it just feels like not 11 players are at the peak of their form right now. So Barcelona is struggling to defend the quick transitions. That's been a thing that has been going on for years. It's not just Xavi's problem. And meanwhile, Xavi's trying to put a little bit of optimism in the side. In the league is going well, so that will be their competition this season, I feel. Real Madrid will play Girona on Sunday, and let me stay with Reiner, which is one of those players that Real Madrid signed from Flamengo with the idea, like Vinicius and Rodrigo, that he impresses straight away and he becomes a top player, either taking advantage of the loan deals that Real Madrid prepares for him, like going to Borussia Dortmund and now Girona. He's 20 only. The idea, of course, is that as soon as they can, Real Madrid will bring him back into the squad and try to push for that improvement, but it's not happening. At Borussia Dortmund, he didn't play a lot, just came on in the last 10 minutes of a lot of games. And at Girona, they started well and was in part of the lineup as well, but what he found is that with an injury, his progression stopped. He was a second forward back in Brazil. He's now an offensive midfielder and he's not making that jump of quality yet. But he's back into the reckoning for Girona. Michel, the manager, is giving him confidence. He has to grow. He's got potential, but he's miles away from Vinicius or Rodrigo. It'll be good to see it in Premier Sports on Sunday, facing his side, Real Madrid, who have not put a fear clause in the contract as Barcelona did with Nico. The interesting bit about Athletic Club Villarreal is that, of course, Quique Setién will be in charge of Villarreal for the first time. He was surprised to get the call. I think his prestige was damaged after being at Barcelona. He says he couldn't be himself, that basically suggesting that the players run that changing room. But I think it's more than that. If you believe in your way of doing things, you have to go with it until the end. He didn't do that. And now he hopes to do it at Villarreal. As I say, he thought that somebody was making a joke on him, but Villarreal have decided that this is the kind of manager that could improve this side. We'll have to see, because certainly one of the things that happens with Quique Setién's teams is that they play well, as in they have a lot of possession. Playing well, as I said at the beginning of this video, is much more than that. And that's my question mark. Can he maintain the physicality and pace that Unai have put into this Villarreal side and improve it in the way that they finish matters on the last third? Because the problem has been since Gerard Moreno has been injured is to create enough chances and to score enough goals. So a team that seems stuck, Quique Setién will try to release them, and it will be wonderful to see. That's all for now. There will be another Coffee with Guillem next week, but remember, all the games in Premier Sports, and these are the ones.